Good morning, it's almost 11:15. So, whether you like it or not, love is in the air this week, with Valentine's only a day away now, and maybe you're buying a gift for that special someone, maybe a card. Maybe you'll get one from a secret admirer. Well, here's a gift you can give with a bit of a difference. A Derby project called Restore is handing out beauty boxes to women working on the streets as a reminder of hope, compassion and care. They say women they support have not experienced what it truly means to be loved. Restore's main aim is to support women working in the adult industry in a non-judgmental way. Prostitution in Derby is a world many of us will be unaware of. So just to give you an idea of what the life of a prostitute can be like, back in 2016, I spoke with Sally, who called the show to say she'd worked on the streets and as an escort. Some of what Sally says is both of a sensitive and adult nature.
Well, at the time I was street walking. You ask these people what service they want, they tell you, and it's like certain amounts. For certain things it's more money. And I stopped out all night, I'd done about 15 people and I earned £1,000.
Were there times when a client might ask you for something that you were not comfortable doing?
Yes.
Did that happen often?
No.
On the times that happened, is there some kind of unspoken rule or etiquette?
When I got stabbed, when I was actually working the streets, I'd said no to this bloke. A no is no. That's a categorical rule. Do you know what I mean? And I got a wicked stab mark down my leg where he stabbed me because he got arse in. I couldn't get out of the car because he trapped me in the car. And I had to punch him and everything to get out the car, and I took my shoes off and ran. So he couldn't find me. I had to hide because he was still driving around looking for me at the time.
I mean, that's frightening.
I know.
You say you did this for your children?
Yeah.
Because you were desperate?
Well, yeah. I was a single mother. I'd got 3 under 5, trying to make ends meet.
And then you were offered this night to come out with your friend and you earn £1,000 in a night?
Yeah.
That, I imagine, is quite a common story, though the kind of anecdotes she was sharing there are sadly, they happen all the time, I guess. Josie Larder is the project manager of Restore, who will probably be able to answer that. Good morning.
Good morning, thanks for having me today.
Well, nice to see you. We'll explain what you're hoping people will feel generous enough to do. But, I mean, just listening to Sally there, very bravely sharing some very terrifying scenarios. I guess you come across these stories all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a different world out there. And I mean, we're here to just show love and compassion to people. And, you know, these women, like she was saying, have to put up a fight quite a lot. And so, you know, sometimes we come along and these women, what they're experiencing is people, you know, they're quite defensive because what they're used to is having to be on their guard all the time. But we're coming in to say, you know, we're here to just give to you and to show you some kind of compassion and care. And that's not what they're used to.
Well, I imagine they're instantly suspicious of you.
Absolutely. But, you know, in this environment, you know, women are seen as a competition, as a threat. And I, you know, from my experience, I know that sisterhood can be so powerful. You know, when women can be for women and encouraging each other, it's a powerful thing. And that's what Restore is about, really.
So part of what you do is befriending these women who are working on the streets, to give them that compassion, that listening ear. What? I mean, is it usually, is the common theme desperation? Sally mentioned there she was desperate. She got 3 kids under the age of 5. She's got to make ends meet. She's got to put a plate of food on the table for them each day. Is that generally the theme you hear? It's desperation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to generalise for everyone and say it's, you know, the same for all. It is such a complex issue. There is so much background that goes into, you know, why people might choose this area of work. I know some people say this is my choice, and I agree with that, but there are a lot of stages before that will make someone choose a particular area of work. desperation can be one example. We do, on the streets in particular, there is a lot of kind of addictions, drug addictions, homelessness, poverty, which will lead people to this area of work. And like Sally mentioned, earning £1,000 in a night, you don't really get that in much other areas of work. And so that's the danger of this area, is that it grabs you, as soon as you start, and you get a bit of taste of, what you can earn. And then, like Sally was saying, she's helping her children there. She's doing it to look after her children. And her own kind of self-esteem, her own mental health might get pushed aside because she wants to, to work for her children. And so Restore are there to say, actually, you deserve some self-care as well. You deserve some compassion and to look after yourself. So we're just there on a night out to provide some support to that lady and say, do you know what, we're here to listen to you. If you want to talk, we're here to listen. We're not here to take anything from you, which is what happens in this area of work. A lot of people take from them, whether that's physically or just emotionally. We just want to offer them some compassion. So one of the beauty box is just a great way to do that. We've got shampoos, some toiletries, some chocolates, a prayer in there, and just something to say, what, you deserve this, and you're worthy of being loved and showing yourself some compassion too.
Yeah, and self-worth, I would imagine, is the thing that is lacking the most in whatever the reason why they've ended up doing what they're doing. The self-worth must be the thing that they clamour for and struggle to find.
Absolutely.
On a day-to-day basis. We're going to talk about these beauty boxes a bit more and a bit more about the work you do as well as Restore. So we'll chat more in a moment on BBC Radio Derby. So I'm in conversation with Josie Larder, who's the project manager of Restore. Now, Restore is a Derby project. Their aim is to support women working in the adult industry in a non-judgmental way. They're planning to hand out beauty boxes, as it's Valentine's, of course, to women working on the streets as a reminder of hope, compassion and care. We'll explain how you can help with that if you're feeling generous and want to help out this very important project. The use of non-judgmental, Josie.
Yes.
You were actually talking moments ago on that very theme. And actually we heard the clip of Sally, who has worked the streets. She's been an escort. And she was saying how she was a single mum, 3 kids under the age of 5. She is being a brilliant mum.
Absolutely, yeah.
And most of us would judge her for what she's doing to earn money rather than actually thinking, why is she earning the money and what's she putting it towards?
Yeah.
Now, there will be some, as you say, who have a serious drug addiction, alcohol addiction. They're putting that money to bad use, sadly. But there are plenty like Sally who are just doing it because they need to make ends meet and they need to look after their children.
Yeah, I think that's the crucial question, is why? Why is someone working in this area? And that's something Restore is so passionate about, is listening. So we want to know their dreams. We want to know their hopes. We want to know their story. I think for me, to be loved, I think, is to be known. And so if you love someone, you want to know about them. You want to hear what they're excited about, what gets them up in the morning, and how we can kind of help that person reach their potential. And that's the thing, isn't it? I think, we want to ask the questions why, not just judge them on face value of what they're doing or what they look like, or how they've ended up in this situation. But we want to know them as a person. And to me, that's what love's about.
A lot of the work that you do is going now Derby, like all other cities, has a certain area where you will find prostitutes. We won't say which area this is, but obviously Restore will target that area because you know that's where you're going to find them, and the whole point is that you're trying to support, trying to help them. When you approach these ladies, do you always get it right? Have there been times where you assume they're a street worker and actually not?
It's an interesting question. So it's important to note that, these women, this area of work, it's so important to be confidential. They don't just want to, show themselves off to everyone. So actually, when we go out, the women working, they're just wearing normal clothes. It's not like this Hollywood scene. Might be just wearing, jeans, joggers, hair tied back. They're not, dressed up, selling themselves. So it is difficult to always know which women to approach. I'm sure there are some examples where we've offered someone just a hot drink. We're very careful about our words, so we wouldn't go straight up to someone that we haven't seen before and say, here's some condoms, here's some beauty boxes, but we'd offer a hot drink, because anyone's gonna say yes to a hot drink, and that's quite a safe place to start the conversation. And
when you do approach the right person, sometimes it can be awkward by the sound of things, but when you do approach the right person, I'm assuming they are guarded initially. Do you then get to the point where there's a sense of relief that they've actually someone speaking to them as a human being? And a person for once.
I mean, Restore is really keen to build relationships. So we do see regular women, which is brilliant, when they recognise us and, they come over straight away. And that's our hope, is that we can build those genuine relationships where they trust us. But yeah, new women they will have their guard up. And, we don't want to, challenge them in any way, or we want to try and just come alongside them and show that support. And we won't push anyone to do anything they don't want to do. If they don't want to chat with us, that's absolutely fine. We'll still offer them, a hot chocolate and some food, and some toiletries. And then we'll just keep on persevering week after week and just keep offering them things. And if they want to choose to, chat with us, then that's what we'll do. But I think it's really important to take the time. We don't want to just come in here and be another person that lets them down. It's so important to me that we are, if we're going to do this, then I want to do it right. And we want to make genuine relationships where we can follow through on what we say. If we're going to offer to take them to a hospital appointment, that we've got the capacity to do that, and we're going to do that, and we're going to walk them through the ups and the downs of life together.
And I guess the hope is then, when you're building these relationships, as you say, you want them to realise that there is hope.
Yes.
There are choices. There are other choices, if indeed they want other choices. Of course, in some cases they don't.
Yeah.
So to follow that through, and hopefully then go right the way through to the end, where they get out of that industry and find a better place, if that's what they need to do.
Yeah, and again, it's so unique to each individual. So there's not a kind of conveyor belt way of working. It's about working with that individual, seeing, again, knowing their story, what's going to work for them, how do they want to progress, how do they want to kind of live day by day at the moment, and walking it with them.
So these beauty boxes then.
Yes.
People listening now, they've heard the great work you do.
Yeah.
Most people listening now are in a privileged situation where they will never need to know that life. They can walk past it and ignore it. They don't have to have anything to do with it. Sadly, those women who you're dealing with don't have, or feel they don't have, that choice right now. This is it. This is what they're in. And a lot of it is desperation, as we've just talked about. A lot of them are doing what Sally was doing, which is just being a good parent and earning money the only way they know how, in order to be able to put a hot dinner in front of their children. So these beauty boxes then, people can donate.
Yes.
Towards the boxes, but also towards the work you do.
Yeah, so we're asking for donations to the whole work of Restore, not specifically these beauty boxes, but it's just a great way to kind of show hope, compassion and care. So these beauty boxes are filled with toiletries, they're filled with homemade cakes, in just a handwritten note, because I think handwritten notes are just really important to show someone's actually taken the time to write something. And we always try and remember each woman's name. So again, we'll have some without names if we're going to see new women. But the women that we've established relationships with, we'll try and, remember their name and remember something about what they've told us. But yeah, so we thought, as it's Valentine's Day, there's lots of love in the air. And, you might buy a bottle of wine to share with the girls, buy some flowers for a loved one, or buy some chocolate. And actually, we thought, does anyone want to kind of spare that £5 to the work of Restore and spread that love just a little bit further, and to share love with women that probably aren't going to experience, what love is really about this Valentine's Day?
Which is a great idea. How do they donate the £5 then, Josie?
So we've got our website, which is restoredarby.org, and you can go to our giving page, or the best thing to do would probably be email me at josie.restoredarby@outlook.com.
josie.restoredarby@outlook.com.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, great stuff.
Brilliant.
Keep up
Thank
the
you
good
for having
work
me.
and good luck with it all. Thank you, Josie. By the way, if you want those details again that Josie Larder was explaining about the brilliant work that Restore Derby does, and if you feel generous enough for this Valentine's Day to donate £5 to the good work they do, helping the women who are working on the streets, who may never know what it feels to find love, to be loved. And the great work they're doing. So, of course, they're doing these beauty boxes with these lovely handwritten notes in them, and just for them to be made to feel cherished a little bit. And so the £5 goes towards, obviously, those beauty boxes and the work that Restore Derby is doing here in Derby. So the website, again, is restoredarby.org, or you can email Josie, who you're listening to there, at josie.restoredarby@outlook.com.